Welcome to College Town Talk. I'm Jonathan Frank.
And I'm Shan Stout.
Shan, today's interview is a good one because it's almost like two interviews for the price of one. We're talking with two-time Tennessee Tech graduate Ben Higgins, who many of our listeners know as a licensed professional counselor and mental health service provider with Tennessee Tech's Center for Counseling and Mental Health Wellness. But he's also an accomplished musician, he's a worship leader at a local church here in town, and he's a father of three, so he wears a lot of hats.
Well, I love a bargain, so 2 for 1 is the way to go. I'm looking forward to today's interview too, Jonathan, but don't forget on our agreement.
I know. I won't try to use this interview as free therapy.
Good job. Ben, welcome to College Town Talk.
So glad to be here. Thank you guys for having me.
Well, Ben, I want to start by, well, first, let me just say, and I didn't put this in our notes, Shan knew our last guest, which unbeknownst to me, they had known each other for a number of years.
You book brilliant people. What can I say?
Shan, I went to high school with Ben. We were the same graduating class at Beach High School in Hendersonville, and then the same graduating class at Tennessee Tech. And I mention that also because we're talking today partly about his role with the Counseling Center, and I just, listeners could be encouraged to know that Ben, in high school, we're not always, people change. Not everybody's their best self in high school.
Yes. First, for you two friends or frenemies,
we kind of ran, I think, in different circles, but we were friendly always. But Ben has always been just such a nice person, like in high school. That's right. If you're a really good person in high school, you're a good person.
Oh, I agree. And I tell my kids that. I'm like, no matter what kind of decent adult you turn out to be, if you are a jerk when you are young, that's what people will remember.
People will remember.
I have a distant family member who was a jerk when we were young, and still they are a fabulous grown adult. Fabulous. Philanthropic in the community, the whole 9 yards. So nice. But when I see them, I have to remember they're a good person now because they were a jerk.
Well,
that's what you remember.
And for students and parents, you can just know Ben Higgins was always a nice person and a good person.
I love that.
Well, thank you, Jonathan.
But okay, I want to start by asking you about your career path because you were a psychology major during your undergrad. Mm-hmm. And we both graduated the same year, nearly 15 years ago. And then you came back to Tech for your master's in mental health counseling several years later. So I'm gathering you always knew. You didn't. Your undergrad was consistent with your master's. I think you always kind of knew you wanted to do something along these lines, or maybe not. Looks like you're thinking about it.
Well, I came into college undecided. I had no clue.
As so many do.
Yeah, right. Our last guest has, changed her major.
Yes.
Yeah. And so I kind of came in open-minded of like, well, I got to take at least a couple of years of general classes anyway, so maybe I'll figure it out along the way. And I'd always have had a heart for like helping people and like working with people that maybe weren't in the best of circumstances and was thinking more medicine. But then after a psychology class, it's like, oh, okay, this is interesting. And then finished undergrad and it's like, well, I don't really have any reason to leave Cookeville. So I stayed and was working at the outdoor store that I was working with for, again, that fall, and then had a couple people offer me graduate assistantships. And so I started in, I guess, January of 13 in the master's program and finished in 15. And from there, just went on to work through local places and worked in a rehab setting for substance abuse, and then worked in the psychiatric hospital and in CRMC, and then did private practice for a little bit. And I've been on campus now for about 4 years. And so just have really fallen in love with Cookeville. It's great. Didn't hurt that I met my wife along the way, and her whole family's from here. And so,
that's amazing.
And so it definitely feels a lot more like a small town than where I grew up. There was certainly small town attributes there, but there wasn't a square. It was just kind of suburbia on the side of the interstate.
There's a little bit more character here.
It's
in
a cozy
Cookeville.
feel. It is. And I will say about the downtown, you can go there and it just kind of immerses you in this little experience. Yeah. And I think that charm, some people may take that for granted and just think that exists everywhere. But, I'm in tourism. So we have a lot of conferences all over the state. And they'll be like, oh, check out our downtown. Go here, go here. And they're just bragging like it's amazing. And then I go and I'm like, oh, this is so sad because I'm used to how magical ours is. And I think we do have something that is just warm and inviting for families.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And it may sound odd in this day and age, but it's nice to actually get to know your neighbors and feel like you can get to know your neighbors.
That it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Well, Ben, I want to talk a little bit about the Center for Counseling and Mental Health Wellness. And there may be new students listening to this podcast, or maybe students who have just never engaged with the Counseling Center before. They may be thinking, I'd like to talk with someone, but I don't really know where to start. So addressing those students, first, how can they access the Counseling Center services, and what would be your advice to them if they're a little unsure about taking that first step? Because, it feels a little personal, and students are a little nervous anyway. So,
And I love to explain to students, because we have a lot of students that when they come to us, they've never had any kind of professional mental health work before. So they just have what social media or movies tell them it is. And so we love to kind of paint them the picture of what it is like. And it is a very weird relationship of very personal yet very professional and structured at the same time. And so we really try to break down barriers and have it as easy for students to get in. For full-time enrolled for enrolled students, there's no charge. You just come.
Which is wonderful. I mean, let's just say thank you, Tennessee Tech, for that, because that is a very important service to provide.
And we're so thankful to be able to provide it. But yeah, they can come by our office. They can call. They can book through the website. Really kind of whatever, almost every avenue they can book through us. And if they're nervous about coming, they can just come up. And if they don't really know what they want to talk about, we can talk about them not knowing what to talk about. And so we certainly work with the more severe stuff that would come through the door, the more kind of stereotypical mental health concerns or crises that you would think, but also just, hey, I'm new here, I'm dealing with homesickness, or I'm in a relationship that just ended and I don't know what's up or down.
We had back an intern a long time ago with our department that she said, I went and got counseling, said, because I lost all my friends from high school, moved to college, and didn't know anybody. And I was really, really shy. So didn't really know. It felt daunting to make any new friends. It just felt like that was going to be years, because it took years to make her old friends. And so she just felt like that curve was going to be there, and she felt lonely. So she had rave reviews about how that helped her not feel alone. First off, you alleviated the problem of loneliness by having someone to talk to. And then it made her brave. And she's like, now I have so many friends. So I think just having, your thoughts verbalized, sometimes being vulnerable, you can almost self-solve it for yourself, once you get that out there. So, I mean, there's every level for any student who's listening. You don't have to have a massive problem. If you just feel fragile, it can be anything going on. I think that's a nice thing, just to have help in whatever capacity that you need.
Absolutely.
Well, and the, thinking about just making it kind of accessible to the student, making it easier to walk in that door. The Counseling Center also, I have to say, has probably one of the best social media accounts at Tech. I mean, their Instagram it's oftentimes very funny.
Yes, it is funny, so it feels engaging.
Yeah, and you get to know, it kind of helps, you feel like you're getting to know each of the counselors on staff. So Ben, I don't know who on your team comes up with that, but
kudos.
But yeah, y'all do a good job.
Yeah, and there's a lot of stigma around mental health, and so we try to make it a little bit lighter, to where it's like, oh, it's not so scary. These people try to have fun too. And so just anything to make people feel more comfortable coming and talking about things that may not be very easy or comfortable to talk about.
Well, I want to ask you about this, because we had the director of the Counseling Center, Dr. Christina Mick, on this show about 2 years ago now. And one of the questions we asked her was how she prioritizes her own mental health and takes time to unwind and do things for herself. And I don't know, I would imagine that's important, because people share probably heavy things with you all. And it's so she talked with us about bird watching was a big one, gardening. She talked about walking her dog, which that's big for me. Walking Maggie all around Cookeville is I find to be therapeutic. So
her sweet little dog is Bella.
So the same question for you, Ben. What do you do these days for your mental health?
Well, it's definitely changed. As you alluded to being a father of three, I guess free time is a little bit less. So what I would have done 10 years ago is not what I do now. And so, again, I think we all have to modify as our life changes of, well, what used to work doesn't fit now, so I have to augment and supplement. And the main things for me is prayer, and religious, spiritual practices is huge for me. And just talking to other people. I really like to get stuff out of my head.
So you're literally practicing what you preach. You are not just telling everyone to be vulnerable with their feelings. You're also sharing your own feelings.
I try. It's not helpful to keep it in. And so, again, I also I commute via bike to work when the weather's a little bit maybe nicer than it is today.
Yes.
And so sometimes it's nice to just kind of pedal out if it's a really stressful afternoon. It's not too far, but it's far enough. And again, so I love spending time with family, and also, again, being outdoors whenever I can. I love to hike and, again, get out of buildings and into nature. So helpful for me.
Wonderful. I think that's good advice for everybody, and not just for students to see an adult in the role of saying, I'm going to use my own good advice for myself and find what works for me, but also for those of us that work in potentially, I work in tourism. It's not a stressful job, but it is a very demanding job. Mm-hmm. And so trying to figure out how you can use what little free time that you have productively that would help your mental health. I mean, you're making me rethink what might be useful for me. So I appreciate that. Not that, I know Jonathan said we're not supposed to use this for a free session, Ben, so I'm not going to get too deep. I'll get in trouble.
Well, you just told him to not use it.
I know. That's true. That's true. I didn't say anything about me. So, but I'm going to switch gears here and ask about another part of your life, which is your role as a very talented singer, songwriter, and guitarist. So I love the fact that you've performed in venues across our town. You're a worship leader, as we spoke of before, at your church. You've collaborated with top local musicians like Jake Hoot and Drew Buckner. I love them both. Mm-hmm. And your songs can even be found on Spotify, Apple Music, and other platforms, so you guys need to look those up. But I want to know, what made you get into songwriting and performing, and what have you found most rewarding about this particular side hustle?
Well, I've always been drawn to music. There was music pretty much playing 24/7, at least as I remember, in my home coming up. And my family came to the Nashville area because my dad was a songwriter in Nashville.
So you come by this honest.
And so I didn't really start playing or writing until college.
Now, does your father play the guitar as well?
He does,
okay.
Yeah. And I got a guitar for graduation, didn't touch it for a year. And so I'm not really sure what motivated me to start, but started to play. And then, of course, I have melody and music in my head most of the time. No one would know, but it's happening pretty much all the time. And so I finally got to exercise some of that and experiment with writing, and really kind of fell in love with it and started to debut songs at the open mic nights at the Backdoor Playhouse on campus. And which, funny enough, it was right around the same time when Jake started. I remember his first time. Really, this was his first time playing out anywhere, and it was off of a dare from the football team because they knew he could sing. And then we continued to play there for years and continued to write. And again, we'll play around town here and there. It's lessened a little bit as parenthood has taken a priority, certainly in the evenings.
Well, I guess I'm curious too, because you talk about, sometimes music and mental health go hand in hand. Is that maybe an outlet for you? I know my husband, he was a musician and a singer for years and years in his younger days, in his 20s and 30s. But now he plays music for his mental health. He said you can't really worry and play music at the same time. It takes a different part of your brain. You have to be fully focused, fully immersed. And it has been good for him to go back to music and not do it as any sort of career. And so is that the same for you?
Yeah, it's really hard to be stressed out about anything when you're playing. And it's a great way to, just the playing of itself is helpful, but especially if you're writing and creating, it taps into a whole new part of just your brain. And again, you can process stuff. And I'd sometimes process, I guess, stuff that comes through in sessions or just the same struggles that most of us experience. again, there's nothing new necessarily. There's just new flavors of it. And so kind of working stuff out in my own personal life through songs, whether it's heartache or love or just what's happening in the world around us.
The human condition altogether.
Absolutely. And so, again, music has always been around. There's definitely and I still write, I still play. And again, there's always a hope that, again, it would get to a place where more people could hear the songs that I've written. Again, I've recorded some, but I'd love to record them all and at least have them up on the internet. And if anything comes of them, cool. But mainly just so they could be listened to by people. And if they resonate, they resonate. And if not, then I still got something out there.
I love it.
But thankfully I get to, again, I do get to play every single week at our church. It's been such a blessing to help plant that now around 11 years ago and have just been involved with that. And it's such a wonderful, again, time to not just to play, but to play with kind of a greater purpose than just tips. Tips are fun when you're playing in that setting, but when you're playing for something a lot larger and helping people get into again, a safe space, which is also kind of similar into counseling as well. It all kind of
it overlaps.
It overlaps
Absolutely.
a bit.
Well, I love hearing you talk about how this all started because it took me back. I remember one of my favorite memories as a tech student was going to those open mic nights at the Backdoor Playhouse. I did everyone a favor and did not perform because that would have been bad. But I love to listen, and I remember Ben, I remember Jake Hoot, I remember Corey Wheeler, my John McGlathry, and Daniel Meadows, my roommates, got up there. Blakely Estes would perform from our high school. So a lot of good memories at those open mic nights. But Ben, we have arrived at my favorite part of the interview, which is the rapid fire round. Although we've got a little bit of time, so it doesn't have to be too rapid fire. So
sure.
I'll ask you
semi-rapid fire.
I'll ask you a few questions and just tell us the first thing that comes to mind. So. Your favorite song to perform right now?
Oh, it's hard. I really love to play the one that I released, not a shameless plug. It's called Done Shaven, which I debuted at the open mic nights, which was really fun. I love that or any of the other ones that I've written. It's just exciting to not necessarily sing a cover and just to share something that, again, you created. And then if there's a response, then kind of even better. I also, as far as cover songs, I really love Bob Seger's Turn the Page, which I do solo. But I have a kazoo that I do the saxophone solo with.
That's fantastic.
And it's really hard.
Have to hear it now.
It's really hard to not have a really good time doing that one. I bust out laughing halfway through the song most of the time anyway.
I did because I was doing my research prior to this interview, Shannon. I did. You had a recent cover of a Forrest Frank song that was pretty good too. So, okay, your dream duet partner. Chris
Stapleton would be up there. I'd love Bear, the lead singer of Need to Breathe, but Dolly Parton would just be insane.
Epic.
It'd be
absolutely.
wonderful.
Okay, we're putting it out there.
Yes,
this is now out there in the
Love
ether. Favorite spot in Cookville?
I'm a big fan of Lazy Cow.
Who isn't?
It's so good every single time. And I also really like City Lake Park, which not a lot of people know about. But particularly
that's the best part of it.
Exactly.
That is the best part.
The waterfall all the way in the back on a
Yes.
hot summer day, you can just sit, and it is the best.
Yes,
It's
and
wonderful.
it's little,
Yep.
but so serene.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
I got to put that. I've not been there. And Josh Martin, one of the faculty in the Spanish department, was telling me about City Lake Park, and I've not been. So it's on my list.
Fabulous.
I got to go there.
You can almost miss it. It's so little.
Oh yes, it's really, it should be called Little.
Well, I like
Little City Lake Park.
a
miniature.
little hike is perfect
That's
for me.
right in your
Really.
wheelhouse.
And it is. It's a very little hike. It's paved half of it and
Yes.
then gravel the other half.
It's lovely.
Something that most listeners would be surprised to know about one of your colleagues in the counseling center.
Do I need to say who the colleague is?
Oh,
You
sure.
could.
Extra bonus points for that.
I did run this by them, so they're okay with it. One of the members of our office, Jack, the first person you'll talk to, once was the UT baseball announcer for radio, and has also done a whole bunch of announcing for indie wrestling. So
wow.
There's all these deep cut YouTube videos of him doing announcements for indie wrestling scene. And they are hilarious.
I never knew that about him. And I remember him because he worked at Tech like when we were students. And then I just recently found out that he is Karen Lycan's brother.
Oh my goodness! Small world.
Small world at Tech. Okay, the best or worst thing about sharing a first and last name with a celebrity. Of course, we're talking about Ben Higgins from The Bachelor. What would that be?
There's also Ben Higgins. He's on some news channel, and he kind of got YouTube famous early in the YouTube years, where he almost got backed into by a car while he was on live news.
Oh, wait, there's another Ben Higgins musician too, I think.
There's like a metal guitarist, Ben Higgins. So it's funny because it's, again, recognizable. People have actually tagged the more famous Ben Higgins in stuff meant for me. He's got like over 1 million followers.
You're not responding to my Instagram post. What's wrong with you, Ben?
I know. It's like, weren't y'all supposed to tag me in this? It's like, oh, wait, you tagged the other one. But the biggest difficulty is it makes stuff really hard to find in terms of on social media. It's like,
yes.
Especially YouTube. It's like, and he has been probably the most active post-Bachelor after having been off the show.
And you're like, come on, man.
it's like any of the other guys. But so there's so much content about him, but it's funny. But it works.
Maybe, and this, I realize this might take maybe a couple sentences of explanation, but curious, your best advice for college students wondering how to use social media and protect their mental health.
Yeah, balance is really important. Not going to get on a social media soapbox too much, but again, use it for entertainment, use it for social connection, use it for meeting people, but balance it with a lot of in-person connection and in-person activities. And I'm thankful that this generation of students, I think probably a holdover from COVID, they want to do stuff in person.
Yes.
And so, and it's been encouraging to see that kind of resurge, as well as a lot of new and old events have resurfaced on campus that hadn't been done for a few years. And have had really great attendance. But also just like, you can do fun things and you don't have to post it. It's like, just do it for you.
It still happened.
Yeah, just do it for you. It doesn't have to be documented. And it's like, your worth is not in the number of people that like your stuff, which is tough when, again, I experienced that too, like by posting content. It's like you think about it, but how you can just separate yourself from those things.
No, very good advice. Very good advice. Finally, Ben, we want to end each interview on this podcast with the same question. And
Sure.
it can be a doozy because it's hard to narrow it down. What is one way that Tennessee Tech has impacted your life?
It's really difficult to narrow it down to one, having been involved with campus so many years. But I guess simply to say that it has affected really, like almost everything that I'm currently doing is somehow affected to either my time at Tech as an undergrad or my time working there or just being around it. Again, my professional path, I started playing music here, my friendships, my current job is again at the university. Our church has a heart that's aimed for the campus community. Almost everything is not Tech isn't everything, but almost everything that I'm involved with is somehow tied. And again, I love the university. I love this place, and I'm so grateful to have been here, but also to, again, get to work hands-on with students and be on campus every day. Campus is just fun. It's just a good environment, especially with people coming back. Actually, really today is starting to fill up again, which is wonderful.
Ben, it has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for letting us talk with you on College Town Talk.
Yes, well, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
And for our listeners, you can learn more about Tennessee Tech's Center for Counseling and Mental Health Wellness at www.tntech.edu/counsel, and you can find them in room 307 of the Rhoden University Center. Appointments can be scheduled by phone at 931-372-3331 or through the Eagle Wellness portal. Students can also access the Eagle Eye Crisis Hotline at 855-206-8997.
Thanks again to Ben Higgins for being our guest today, and to all of you for listening. We'll meet you back here again next week for more conversations with the people who make Cookeville, Tennessee's college town.
College Town Talk is presented by Tennessee Tech University in partnership with the Cookeville-Putnam County Visitors Bureau. Your hosts are Jonathan Frank and Shan Stout, and original music is performed by Andrew Buckner. Visit us online at tntech.edu/collegetowntalk.